Young Drunk.
Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble. And as always, I am joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, we are closing out Octavia April, our celebration of Afrofuturism and black science fiction. And we are going to the year of 2019 to See You Yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A beautiful time travel comedy drama?
Yeah.
Action? Buddy cop? Something?
Genre bender.
There you go.
Genre bender.
Time travel genre bender.
Mm-hmm.
That has been brought to you tonight here on The Mission by our very special guest, who is a superstar podcaster in her own right, the host of the Secret Adventures of Black People podcast.
All right.
Along with, that's not the only podcast. She has another podcast. You'll appreciate this one, Vincent.
Okay. Because I like Secret Adventures of Black People.
Yes. But did you also know that our ancestors are messy, which is her other podcast.
Fantastic.
Nichole Hill here on The Mission. Hey, Nichole, how you doing?
Nichole.
Hey, y'all. I'm great. How are you?
Oh, we are fantastic. Thank you for taking the time from your
yes.
very busy schedule to sit in with us and review See You Yesterday.
I'm very excited. I'm a fan. I listened to y'all, so I'm like, ooh, okay, I get to be on that.
That is so dope.
Yeah.
To each and every one of you out there who are watching us as we stream live from Young Chunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace, to YouTube, where each and every one of you are out there in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
We're going to throw you a little bit of a curveball tonight as we are shooting this live, as we are going to be starting things with our chat with Nichole and dipping immediately into our review of See You Yesterday. But before we even talk about Nichole, before we even talk about See You Yesterday, we were talking before the cameras came on about the biggest thing that is happening in the culture.
Yes, it is.
For the past now 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks going strong.
Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, which is blowing up in the theater. I think it's 2 weeks. It was the #1 film.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
with a 6% loss, I believe.
only a 6% loss from the first week.
Mm-hmm.
And it has become what probably Black Panther, probably the first Black Panther, the cultural event, the must do cultural event for Black people.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. Not to quote Nichole before we talked, she talked about this is an event.
Yeah.
Like you actually go to it like an event. And I was thinking when you said it, the last time we all came together as a collective like that for a movie may have been Black Panther.
Yeah. And you said this is actually even more of an event because there's like been a siren call put out by Ryan Coogler out there in LA where you are, right, Nichole?
Yes, he's been so specific about the fact that you need to see it in IMAX, the fact that he wants you to see it in 70 millimeter. And out here, there are a few studios where it's like they show it in the exact format that he envisioned.
Nice.
Those studios are completely sold out. You have to go at like 10 a.m. to be able to see this movie, or like on some random off day. There's a place called Irvine where they show it the way he wants. It's so far. Even those theaters are sold out. Like people are, everybody's excited for the story and also excited to see it the way he wants it. So it feels like this big event where it's like, we're going to travel to here and we're going to watch it the way he told us to watch it. It's amazing.
So did you see it in IMAX?
I did. Yes. I've seen it 3 times in IMAX. It's amazing. It's incredible.
It is.
Wow. See, now I haven't seen it in IMAX yet.
Okay.
I want to see it in IMAX, especially because I've heard, one, that's how he wants everybody to see it. And I've heard that while you can notice sometimes like the aspect ratio changing, there's one specific scene, I believe, where it actually gets like smaller in a way that it's like really telling story-wise that I really want to see. that I'm waiting to check. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's the truth, but that's what people have been telling me. And I'm like, yo, I want to go see it.
I've only seen it in IMAX, so I don't even know what it looks like in any other format. I've just been like, whatever you say, sir. I'll just go.
I've seen it in IMAX and in just on a regular screen, and there is
significant.
there is a difference. Wow. You know, I've been coy about details the past couple of weeks because, as you can attest, if you've seen it, there really are aspects of the film that you need to go in and not know.
Go blind. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yes, if you can see it in IMAX, although from what I've heard, it's leaving IMAX.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah, because they're going to be pulling it from a lot of IMAX screens.
From the screens.
Because Thunderbolts is a Marvel movie is going to be
right. What I'm hoping is that at some point in the future, maybe even the near future, it comes back into IMAX.
Yeah. For like Halloween, it makes perfect sense.
Sure.
You did a year from now, we would go back to IMAX. I mean, it was so smart to tell us to see it that way because now that feels like an event. And anytime they want to put it back in those in theaters in that way, I think people are going to turn out.
Right.
Oh my God. So without, like Vincent said, he's been very coy. We've been coy about giving away things about.
I'm trying to protect the missionaries. I'm looking out for the missionaries. Because as you said, it's sold out. You can't get into it. Like there are people I know that just can't get into a viewing.
I know that's true.
So I'm trying to look out for them.
That's true. But I'm curious. You've seen it 3 times in IMAX, and you've loved it, right? Was there one thing about the film that really just like, oh, that really like surprised you? How much it affected you?
Oh, I mean, okay, I'm not going to give anything away. So I'll say something in the exposition. I think the world, I spend so much time in the archives and in history and reading Black newspapers and hearing them describe what 1920s Kansas City looked like. Yeah. I mean, just like the level of detail that they share with one another. Mm-hmm. Seeing the world, seeing him recreate Clarksdale, Mississippi, like that was amazing. And watching them move through it from the market to the train station to like they were kind of like going all around doing different things, to be able to see it and in very subtly to be able to see like the ways that Black people interacted versus the ways they interacted with white people, the way segregation actually looked, which is not as clean as it's usually portrayed. I just couldn't get enough. Like the first half of it is kind of like set up, and I love it. I loved it. That's probably the part that surprised me. I wasn't expecting to love the setup as much as I did.
The first half of it is so immersive, like you just said. You are taken. You are transported back in time.
Yeah.
Into that town. So much so that we talk about this all the time. I could easily sit in on a 10-episode series just in that.
Easy.
Every single solitary character in this film, every single solitary character, I could have watched their lives a month before the events in this film took place.
Yep.
Every single character.
Yep. Including the guys that tried to rip off his truck.
No. Look, there's like a little girl that stacks pays to watch the truck.
Yeah.
Like the moment with her, I thought was such a great moment. I was like, what's her deal? Like every character, I was, well, what's their deal? And then obviously as you build out to the bigger characters, it really is, immersive is such a good word because you can tell how much care went into the construction of each of the characters, no matter how quote unquote small their role was.
Yeah.
So
indeed. It's funny you were talking Nichole, about how you have spent so much time in the archives. That's what you do, because that is basically the background for a lot of the work and the podcast that you do, the secret adventures of Black people and Our Ancestors Are Messy. First of all, from one podcaster to another, congratulations on a great idea for a podcast, and to hell with you with your great idea for a podcast. Because Our Ancestors Were Messy, Vincent, is a podcast where Nichole, digging in the crates, goes through all the articles, like old newspaper articles and archival footage of things, to just talk about the messiness of Black people in pop culture from the past.
Nice.
It is, and I was like, that's such a damn good idea for a podcast. And here's the proof that it's such a damn good idea for a podcast. I subscribed to your podcast. I started listening to the podcast. It came on, and I was like, fuck, Nichole, this is such a good podcast. It wasn't even 5 minutes in. I was like, man.
That's a great compliment.
It's a compliment.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll take it. It took a long time, like 5 years, to be like, how am I going to tell the story? I basically found these like historical Black newspapers and learned through this movie called Soldiers Without Swords, which is what they used to call the Black press, learned that like every Black community in the country had at least one, either it was like a church bulletin or some kind of like Black newspaper. And some of them had these massive ones. And in this way, Black people were able to learn the news, the truth of what was happening with the Black community across the country, the truth of what was happening in a case like the Scottsboro case.
Scottsboro boys,
they were just, yes, exactly. They were able to learn like what was actually happening with their community and see positive representations of themselves, and also communicate with one another, and also spread each other's like mess and gossip. So I got really focused on the gossip pages, because on those pages, actually what happens is you see this collision of most of my episodes deal with the intergenerational tension, and the people who were enslaved and their kids, and the people who are enslaved are not telling their kids what happened. And their kids are like, why are you so pressed? And so they're talking past one another. And then you have this debate about like, how are we going to beat Jim Crow? And one generation has one idea, the artists have one idea, the farmers have another idea. And in each episode, you see a clash of that. But also just people being real. Like our ancestors are giants. I have so much reverence for them, but they were very much human beings, and they very much disagreed about the best path forward to beat Jim Crow ultimately. But everybody like did their part. Everybody did what they can. They worked for years and years and passed the baton from generation to generation. And eventually they were able to do that. And I think we need those lessons, unfortunately, now more than ever. It's I love making the show. I love getting to have fun, and my background is in comedy too, so I like to like not have to be so serious with it, and but still get to talk about like their day-to-day lives, their mess, their philosophies, and how ultimately they made Black history.
Give us a peek. What's some good mess you can drop to pique our interest?
Okay, so the Oscar Micheaux episode is like one of the first ones that I like really dug into, because Oscar Micheaux is such a legend, and he worked so incredibly hard. And his legend is that he's like such a hard worker, and what he did was extraordinary. That's not where he started. Where he started was like his family always called him lazy. Everybody called him lazy. They told him he was not going to make something of himself. He goes out, starts the frontier. He becomes a frontiersman, but he really wants a wife. And the way he goes about finding a wife is so messy. He's like, oh, I'm talking to this girl. Oh, but I feel like she disrespected me. She not respected me as a man. Now I'm talking to this girl. Oh my gosh, she's like basically an influencer. I don't really want to be with an influencer, but maybe I should settle. Oh, no, I'm talking to this girl, but I hate her dad. And actually, he built all of his empire on how much he hated his first wife's dad. That is what spurred him to become the Oscar Micheaux that we know
Is that the
and
preacher?
love today. That's
Is it,
the Reverend. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
Reverend. Yeah.
That's the Reverend.
When we've reviewed a few of his movies, it's a pattern in his
Yes.
movies about religion. And yeah.
He always has an evil reverend. And
That's
I did all
right.
this research and they were like, oh, you know, he's trying to call out hypocrisy in the Black community. It's like he wanted revenge against that man so bad and he never let it go. And like he just was a human, but also him and the Reverend had, you know, Oscar Micheaux was like Booker T. Washington all day. That's how his mom raised him. His mom had been enslaved. And the Reverend was like W.B. Du Bois. And Oscar felt like ultimately their breakdown, reason the Reverend was so against him was because he was riding for Booker T and the Reverend was riding for W.E.B. And then as Oscar became a filmmaker and got more and more involved in like kind of looking at the whole world, his views changed and he moved more towards the W.B. Du Bois camp. But
he wouldn't let his father-in-law know that though.
Never. He would never.
No.
Of course not.
Yeah.
That's how Oscar got down.
That's right.
That's how Oscar got down. And then I did a 2-parter on Zora Neale Hurston and Langston Hughes. They were best friends. And then they had what Henry Louis Gates Jr. calls the most notorious literary quarrel in African American cultural history. And they really did. It was a very sad falling out. But I also talk about how like the W.B. Du Bois, Alain Locke generation versus the Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston generation versus James Baldwin and all them. Like everybody's just misunderstanding one another. And I think the benefit of being able to look back on all this history and all their archiving and their letters and their journals is we can see now that like we need a variety of strategies in order to be able to like make great art, to build amazing cities, to do whatever we want to do. It's not just one way. And they thought that, you know, there was probably just one way.
All right.
Do you think, this is a question for both of y'all, do you think that level of thought and discourse is one of the things that is missing today as far as a directional force for Black people?
I mean, I think it's always room for more thoughtfulness. You know, part of it is just the technology, you know, not to be hypocritical because we all have access to YouTube and a podcast. And you know, it takes long. It's funny, you're talking about James Baldwin and Langston Hughes and W.B. Du Bois, and these people were writers. Like they wrote. Whereas, you know, I think a lot of us can just set up a mic and
just talk. And there's where the thoughtfulness is lost because when you're writing, you're being more thoughtful, you're being more measured in your words and what you're putting out there, as opposed to just stream of consciousness.
Right. I mean, you can do drafts.
Yeah. And the volume. I think we're really hurt by the volume of information and ideas and opinions and all these things, where it was sort of like Langston Hughes he wanted to tell stories in every form, and he made plays, he worked on movies, he did everything, but it wasn't like 500 Langston Hughes that we were all supposed to follow. It was just the handful of people that made it to that level, and then their ideas were the ones that we sort of percolated on. But now, I mean, there's thousands of ideas out there, and that is hard to sort through for sure.
Okay. All right.
You just had a little philosophical moment. You just had
I don't get
what
many.
What are you thinking? What's going through your head?
I don't get many of those. So when they come, I have to get them out of my head. No, I started thinking about that, man, because I don't know.
What are we going to do about our people?
Look, this is what I do for Push Black, man. This is what I do all day. So sometimes I bring it here. You know, I had you two very erudite people. So
I feel like I should have a blazer on.
No, but like honestly, in real time, if you read the papers, first of all, like Black people are hilarious. The way that we use language, it feels like reading like RIP Black Twitter. I don't know what we're doing. I guess we're on Threads now, but if people are writing and they're just being like, I did this one story a few years back about this opera house in DC that was DC wasn't like properly segregated in the Victorian era. It was kind of like culturally, like it was understood to be segregated. So they were making Black people like go through this back alley to get into this opera house, and they're furious about it. But the way that they wrote about it in the paper is like, I can't believe that I saw Tommy so and so going through the back alley just to go see vaudeville. You don't even care about our people. And then you had other people being like, if we're ever going to improve our condition, we must consider the da 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 of what we do. Like there's all these different ways. And I guess if you looked at the newspaper, there were a lot of different ideas in there. And people probably felt like there are too many conflicting opinions about what we should do in this newspaper. We have a larger volume, but there's always been this conflicting opinion. But there was a one very clear enemy, like a Thanos, which was Jim Crow. And everyone could work towards that. And now it's a little bit, what we're working towards is just different. There's a lot of different things we want to change, but there wasn't one big bad.
That's true. Very true. What was the big draw for you that got you going into these archives? Where did this like love of history come from?
You know what? I have been a film nerd bro since forever, specifically like golden era Hollywood since middle school.
Really? The black and white films?
Oh my God, like 1920s to 1954. This is my bag. I love this time period and always have. And so, but the thing is, you see Black people in the background a little bit, but I was like, I wonder what they were doing. I don't think I want to know because I bet it's horrible. I bet they were just suffering. But I'm always curious because these are the movies that I watch. And then one day, it truly was random. In 2020, I wanted to tell a story. I was living in DC and I wanted to tell a story about about gentrification. That's what I wanted to talk about. But I didn't want it to be a typical story. So I was like, I wonder if I go further back in time, if I'll be able to come into the story in a different way. So when I did that, I just happened to click on a link and saw the newspaper. And on the front page, it was like an August 1938 issue. There's like a woman in a bathing suit. They're talking about the scandal at the Howard University lab. There was a heat wave. And so all the federal workers got to go home early and everybody was going to the pool. They were like, who's going to the beach? It was just like a normal day. And I never imagined that they were having normal days because I'd never seen it. I hadn't spent a ton of time thinking about it. So I started reading the paper and I was absolutely hooked. And I just wanted to bring people into it, and I wanted them to be able to see it. And being like such a film nerd, I was like, I have to have a lot of sound design. I can't make a movie, but I bet you I could make you kind of see it with really good storytelling and sound design and a Black person there to react to it. Because that, I feel like, you know, I grew up in a very Black Pentecostal church and on porches and in the South and all these things. So I'm used to what it sounds like when a Black person tells a story and you feel like you're there. You feel like you're in it. So I was like, if I could just get guests on, tell them this story, have a bunch of sound design, bring you as the papers made me feel, I think that people will be able to feel it and see their ancestors, see themselves and their ancestors, and see ourselves as future ancestors in training. And I think in that way, with all we have ahead of us, I hope that we do it with a lot of information from the past. But I know that could be boring, but I hope I've made it fun.
You have found an excellent way to make it fun.
Fantastic.
I will cape for you all day. Secret Adventures of Black People. Our ancestors were messy. Found them wherever you find podcasts. Make it so, missionaries. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. It's a great time. It's a great time. Nichole, you are here as we close out Octavia April to review See You Yesterday. That is what we are going to be reviewing tonight, missionaries. See You Yesterday, which is from 2019, Vincent. And I didn't even know that this film was produced by Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It is a 2019 science fiction film directed by Stefan Bristol, based on his 2017 short film of the same name that stars Eden Duncan Smith, Dante Critchlow, Marsha Stephanie Blake, and Brian Stroh Bradley. The synopsis: two Brooklyn teenage prodigies, C.J. Walker and Sebastian Thomas build makeshift time machines to save CJ's brother Calvin from being wrongfully killed by a police officer. This was the selection of Nichole Hill, our guest tonight on the Micheaux Mission. Nichole, what say you of See You Yesterday?
You know what? There's a lot about this movie that I like. There's some things that I would critique, but overall, I felt really good watching it. I was very engaged and interested in a couple little elements. CJ Walker, I feel like shout out to Madam CJ Walker. Calvin Thomas was like a editor of one of these papers. Like there were little nods in there to history. I think Michael J. Fox is reading Kindred at the top. There's just like a lot of really thoughtful things that they did to pay homage to the ancestors that I obviously am very into. It's a hard thing in these movies are the amount of ideas that people want to talk about and explore. I feel like I had a really great editor on one of my episodes who was like, you're going to have time to explore all these ideas. Maybe just pick one. And if I could have given any note, it would have been like, just pick one. But the set design, the costuming, the like wardrobe was gorgeous, and the dialogue. That was what stood out to me the most. The comfort that people had with the dialogue. I feel like they maybe let them improvise or something. Like everybody was speaking so naturally and their chemistry was believable. I was really, really very impressed by that, especially in a time when people don't feel like they have a lot of chemistry. All the characters in this story had a ton of chemistry. The idea is really great. It's just there's a lot around it that's crowding out, I think, like the central message that they want to get across.
Yeah, and I think that those ideas then start to kind of like mess with the tone of the movie a little bit, and sometimes you're not exactly sure how it wants you to feel, or sometimes the tonal shifts are a little like abrupt, and you're like, whoa. I mean, and maybe you wanted to be abrupt, but dude, man, like I had to pause for a minute. Like it's maybe a little bit too abrupt, you know?
Yeah.
What do you got to say about?
Well, I think I do think that was the point. The way the tone changes very abruptly because just the subject matter of the film
does change.
I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
And I think the greatest compliment I can give to the film, you mentioned Kindred, which is, of course, by Octavia Butler. And Octavia Butler does so much with these black female protagonists. I love CJ so much.
Agreed.
I thought she was such a great character because she seemed very realistic to me. Like she was smart. She was, she was funny, but she was also a bit of a jerk.
Yes.
I love the fact that she wasn't this perfect little science fiction Disney protagonist. Like she has a temper.
Yes.
She is a little foolhardy.
Yes.
She's stubborn. This is all in there. And that was so realistic. And she was such a great, I thought the relationship between she and her brother was amazingly realistic. She and her friend was, like everything was so real. Like this Brooklyn neighborhood felt like a real neighborhood, which is why when the events unfold, like it was so visceral.
Yeah.
Like it actually hit me, and kind of that intersection of being black but also being a sci-fi nerd. Like I knew just being aware of science fiction, and as we mentioned, Michael J. Fox is in the film for one scene, and of course when you think about Michael J. Fox and time travel, you think about Back to the Future, which he kind of obliquely references.
Yeah, Great Scott.
When he says Great Scott. But like Back to the Future and so many science fiction films have taught us, there are some things that cannot be changed.
Yeah.
So I had this real melancholy throughout where I have to say the greatest compliment I can give this film is I don't know if I ever want to watch it again.
Well, you're right.
Like it actually really hit me by the end.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, it's a great little film.
Talking about the tone, reminded that there is a moment, and the tone kind of like is playing with you, but there is literally a moment when the movie turns upside down.
Yeah.
And it lets you know, like, okay, we're going a little someplace different now.
Yeah.
You know, we're taking you, this is where it's going. And I saw in some of the reviews that one of the criticisms against this film, and if we're being a little vague about the story, missionaries, it is because this is the type of film that, you know, one, it went straight to streaming. I think it was like a Netflix film.
Netflix, yeah.
So it's out there ready for you to find. Even though it is from 2019, and I'm sure it's got some play, it certainly didn't get the hype of like, you know, Stranger Things or anything like that. So we want to leave something for you to take on. And it's worth it. It's worth it to go
jump the gun a little bit.
Yeah,
we want you to watch it.
Yeah, we want you to watch it. So we're being a little coy with some things. But one of the critiques was that this is a film that it's science fiction, and it's fun science fiction. Right. It's got like a little bit of like a Ghostbusters.
Right. There's a lightness.
There's a lightness to it. But when it does take a turn, that turn, it gets real.
Yeah.
It really gets real. And even in the midst of that science fiction that is still there from the beginning all the way through the end, through its very courageous end, and that I can see some people are having a problem with, but I actually applaud them for, it becomes a hard film to take. And to your point, you don't want to see it again, but you're not upset that you saw it. You're not upset with the journey.
Yeah.
And you want other people to find this, because I think, one, for the performances. The performances are outstanding.
Love this cast.
Love the cast.
Love this young cast.
Oh my God. They are phenomenal. Eden Smith, like you said, as the lead. CJ is fantastic. Dante Crenchlow, fantastic. Stroh as the brother. Calvin. I mean, like, there's a scene at the end where CJ has this young kid that's got a crush on her, and he is like geeking hard on her.
Yeah.
He's geeking hard. And as the big brother, Calvin's like, yo, dog, you're gonna have to slow up with all that. Like, he's not gonna punch him out, but he's just letting him know, like, yo, that ain't getting. That is so much true big brother energy that I was like, dude, like, are y'all really related? Like, how are you coming off like this? Right.
I did think that for a minute. I was like, this chemistry and the ease of the dialogue, and, you know, that really getting like the dialect and the dialogue of Queens. Where were they? They were in Queens, right? Or
no, they were in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Yeah. Getting it right. I mean, so many people overdo it, underdo it, whatever. Theirs felt exactly. Like, I was like, I absolutely believe that you two are brother and sister, that this is how you talk to one another, that this is your bodega. Like, they nailed it.
Oh my God. It's a film that I saw all the time, like, over these years, and I was like, okay, I'll watch this one day. I'm so glad that you selected this, because I was like, oh yeah, great. I get to see you yesterday. This is cool. Especially because I love when it comes on, the movie opens up, and talk about this lightness. This should have been, as I'm watching it, they should have been the Ghostbusters. Like, they felt like they literally had like backpacks on. They were figuring it out.
Right.
They had like the great, like, Iron Man bit where the two people are looking at like holograms of like their designs, and the big brother doesn't have the goggles to see. And he's like, so he ain't seeing nothing. He's like, what's going on? It's such a precious movie, and it's an hour and 27 minutes.
Yes.
Thank God for tight filmmaking.
It's tight. It's tight. And I have to say, I'm going to have to disagree with both of you a little bit I thought it was a pretty linear film. Like, I thought the ideas were just enough to, and to your point about it being tight, and it's sort of a testament to this script. And, and again, in full disclosure, longtime nerd, so a lot of the rules I intuited immediately. But I thought it laid out the framework for how this film was going to work. You knew the stakes. The tone did change, but I thought the tone very organically changed. And as far as how it lands, I respected that the film had the integrity to go where it went. Because it very much, I mean, it's kind of baked in. It very much could have landed on a reset, landed on a very kind of happy ending, landed on, and it did. I thought the film had a lot of integrity.
I hear you on that, but there was one point where I felt like, okay, this is has to happen because of plot. Because there's a moment where the brother finds out something that it's not foreshadowed at all in the movie, unless I missed it. It's not foreshadowed that how he found this out. And when so it felt like very movie convenience that he found it out. And he needed to find it out for us to get to the rest of the film, but plot-wise, story-wise, what was on the screen-wise, it just came out of the blue. So
I don't know.
That's what caught me too. That's where it was, where I was like, we're doing a couple additional steps here to get to where we want to go. And these things that we want to say, which amazing things, but the device, the way by which we got there felt like, well, now I'm having to take on more than I think the story really needed. I wasn't upset at the ride. It was just like, how'd we get here? Yeah.
You just, and all you need it's the type of thing that, maybe it's an easy fix. Let's put it that way. It's an easy fix, but it probably got missed in the editing of the story, the writing of the story, and it is a very small thing because it sounds like it's something that you maybe didn't even notice. So it is a small thing that the average person is just like, they're there for the ride. It's one of those things that we've always talked about it. If you're there for the ride, you'll forgive.
Right, you'll hand
things.
wave
100%.
certain things.
Yeah, and it's just one of those hand wavy things, and it's something that I hand wave, but I'm like, but I wish it was there just to make this that much tighter.
Yeah,
but no shame. It's a great, and I do applaud Spike Lee for getting behind this. And from what I understand, Stephen Bristol actually tried to get this movie made, couldn't get it made, and Spike Lee walked into Ted Sarandos' office at Netflix and said, "Hey man, make this movie." Wow. It's like, "Sure, Spike."
Look, not for nothing, you got Michael J. Fox on screen in 2019 for a scene.
And his last film before he retired.
Yeah, someone made a phone call that wasn't two unknown black filmmakers.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and he had like lines, like probably like 4 or 5, almost 5 lines.
Yeah.
Like he was in it,
Yeah,
he was in it. It was an actual scene. And again, for someone who is in a legitimately iconic time travel film, like to sort of
passing the baton,
right. For him to lend that to this, I thought was a really big deal.
Most certainly.
Yeah,
most certainly. So,
and it's to like have these young people go on an adventure and still be in the context of like being young black teens in Brooklyn. That to get the tone and the balance of that right is hard. And I think that they did it really well. I think the score does a lot to signal to us, like, we're not going to traumatize you. This is not just that. This is closer to how it actually feels to live in the world and to be like both a nerd and have to live in the context of 2019 at the time of the film. I love that. I think that takes a lot of intentionality. And for that, I give the film so much credit because it feels good to watch, even though it deals with hard things.
Right. And to the nerd, like, they're nerds, but they still kind of have this vibrant romantic life. I love the relationship between the two best friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we can be platonic best friends and there's never
nothing.
Anything. It's just so well done.
I see in the chat that Farrell Blackwell was asking about the soundtrack for the movie, and I enjoyed the soundtrack. I enjoyed all of the musical choices.
Oh, the rockers immediately let you know you're in Brooklyn. Like I was like, oh yeah, this isn't New York. This isn't the city. This is Brooklyn. And I loved the I thought the very well placed West Indian touches. Like this is Caribbean West Indian Brooklyn and the dominoes and the chicken and the everything. Yeah, I just really love the sense of place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So with that, Nichole, we come to the question, would you recommend that the missionaries and the world at large see You Yesterday?
I would. It's going to make you think a lot. It's going to make you feel like you're there. And I think it's going to, I don't want to keep talking about the costuming because it's the smallest part of it. It really is. But the specificity of these characters, I think you'll feel like a kid again. It feels like, oh, we're going to figure out time travel. And as a kid, I really wanted to time travel to the past. And so just like when they have their little packs and their little watches and they're like, here we go. It just feels good to see little Black kids imagining that they can do these amazing things, but also having the skill and the intelligence and the knowledge to actually pull it off. I just think it's going to make you feel good. So for that reason, I recommend it.
Vincent?
I would recommend it. I do think it's going to make you feel good all the way up until the point that it doesn't.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's a good point.
But I think as we bring this month to an end, I think this is a wonderful example of this sort of newer generation of Afrofuturism. Speaking of Black Panther in film, speaking of Octavia Butler in literature, I do think we are sort of at that post point where people are building on these texts, and this is a great addition. I do think don't get fooled by the bubbliness of the pictures. I mean, this is a serious film. This is a film that is very much the product of the Black Lives Matter moment and all of those issues that we still grapple with, but at this moment kind of came to the forefront of the culture. And it is very serious in this film, and it's treated with the level of serious intent that it deserves.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Name checking something else that is present in the film. In the same scene where Michael J. Fox is seen reading Kindred, you see three young boys in the back reading the comic book Black.
Yes.
About, a world where Black people have the superpowers.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, the piece of specificity there. Yes, I would. It's 3 for 3. I would definitely recommend that you see You Yesterday. And to cape for the protagonist, Eden Smith as C.J. Walker in here again, you nailed it, Vincent, where you said that she's a fully formed character who is crazy intelligent, but sometimes a little bit too intelligent for her own good.
Sure.
Gets in her own way a little bit. Stubborn to the end. Never lets go of that at all. And that feels so very authentic.
Yeah.
Of a young 15, 16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Especially put into the situations that she is put in this film. Amazing performance by her, amazing performance by everybody, and an outstanding film. See You Yesterday. See it tomorrow, tonight, whenever you can. Make it so. All right? And while you're doing that, also make sure to hit up wherever you get podcasts so you can subscribe to Our Ancestors Were Messy and The Secret Adventures of Black People. Yes, we have secret adventures. Now, these are older tales, so she ain't dropping.
I was about to say, now, how many secrets are you telling exactly?
Not too many.
We're going to have to talk when they turn the camera off.
Not too many.
All right.
And the ones I do tell, it's always like, here's some mess, but this is the mess they had to go through to make Black history. So it's like gossip with a purpose.
All right.
I'm trying to get invited to the cookout in the sky. I'm not trying to be. I don't go too far.
We were talking about the ancestors judging before the camera started.
I'm not trying. I want them to let me in, so I'm careful, and I just do it.
Michelle, why you here at the pearly gates? That's her.
I know, right? Like I'll get to the ancestral plane and no one will be there. That was so sad.
Right.
Spoiler alert for, well, I won't even say, but I don't want that to happen to me.
No.
It's gossip with a purpose.
Okay. All right.
All right. That is our review of See You Yesterday. Thank you, Nichole, for bringing that film. You have to bring another movie.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
We will make it so. But we're not going to let you go just yet, because since you are a fan of old films that are black and white, that were made before we had the right to vote, Vincent.
Right. You had to watch them in the balcony.
Yep. Or at the, like, what do they call, like, midnight rambles.
Right.
They would
There you
open
go.
the theater up for Black people. Yep.
Thank you. So, as I like to say, you're one of me. Because you can help us as we turn to the Game of Kings.
The Game of Kings. Speaking of great ancestors.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where I come up with 2 actors and I present them to Vincent, and he has 6 movies or less to connect them to that man from all of time.
All of time.
D'Urville Martin.
D'Urville Martin.
And tonight he has a very special lifeline.
That's right.
Nichole Hill of the Secret Adventures of Black People and Our Ancestors Were Messy podcast is here to help him should he need it.
That's right.
And I believe you may, Vincent.
Okay.
Because keeping it in theme. We are reviewing with Nichole See You Yesterday.
Yes.
So what I have selected were 2 stars.
Okay.
From other films that have yesterday in the title.
Yesterday is in the title of the film.
Yes.
Okay. So this could be old timey, because that sounds like an old timey title. Yesterday's Horizon. With Prentice St. Charles.
Not quite.
Okay. All right.
Number one. In 6 films or less. Connect D'Urville Martin
to
the star of 1950s.
Let's see. Here we go.
Born Yesterday.
I knew it was going to be that.
Judy Holliday.
I'd have no idea who that is. And if I say show me a picture, you want to just show me a picture of a random white woman?
Yes.
Look at this white woman, Vince.
You don't know Judy Holliday, Vince?
That in 1950 I wouldn't have been allowed to look at.
Judy Holliday.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
It looks like every white woman's prom picture.
She looks like she sings a version of a Chuck Berry song with Pat Boone that they played on the radio that made $1 million more than Chuck Berry's version. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill. Blueberry Hill. Is that who she is?
No.
Okay.
She is an Academy Award-winning actress.
Okay. All right.
That she won the Academy Award for her performance in Born Yesterday.
Is this when the Academy voters watched all the nominees?
This is before they had
the rule. It's no colors in it. Let's watch it.
This is before colors had credits in films.
Right. Charlesy, the Negro servant, didn't get a credit.
Oh my gosh, I'm over here like my mind is racing. I'm like, okay, how do I get there? How do I get there?
Okay,
Because you know who this is?
Yeah, no. Oh my gosh, my sister and I love this movie. We used to watch it all the time.
it's a fantastic movie.
Do you know this actress?
I do know this actress, yes, and I know her lead man, William Holden, who is who I'm thinking like we can get there from William Holden.
You can get there from William. You can actually get there even quicker, but you can definitely get there from William Holden.
Okay, who can we get him quicker from?
Well,
Judy can get you there quicker.
You can because she's in a movie with. Okay, I'm going to give it away because you don't know. She's in Adam's Rib.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Do you know the movie Adam's Rib?
Yeah.
Wait, that's not Cary Grant?
No,
That's who is that?
Spencer Tracy.
That's what you want me to say? Katharine Hepburn, Spencer Tracy.
Is it really Spencer Tracy?
Yes. It's like one of his big movies. That's the movie with him. Another. I don't think it's their first movie, but it's the movie with him and
I was about to say Katharine Hepburn.
Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah. Right. We're laughing because D'Urville Martin is in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Spencer Tracy. So then, of course, it would be an Adam's Rib.
Right.
Is anybody else like? That just went really fast.
Then try William Holden.
Right, because William Holden is he in Sabrina?
Yes,
Not Sabrina.
He is.
He is. He's not in Sabrina.
Yeah, it's Humphrey Bogart and William Holden. He's blonde.
Oh, that's right.
Is that him in Sabrina?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's the brother, the carefree brother.
That's right.
So that's Audrey Hepburn.
Yes.
Okay, so what's that? What's this woman's name?
Judy Holliday. Judy Holliday.
So Judy Holliday is in See You Yesterday with William Holden. Is that
Born Yesterday?
Born Yesterday with William Holden. And then William Holden is in Sabrina with Audrey Hepburn.
Yes.
Audrey Hepburn, because we've done this before.
Yeah, because we've done.
Because Audrey Hepburn is in My Fair Lady with what's
your boy.
Right, what's Pickering's name?
Ross Martin.
Right, Pickering. Because Colonel Pickering is in
is that Ross Martin in that? Not Ross Martin.
Because isn't that Colonel Pickering in Trading Places?
Oh, is it Don Amici? Or
No, not Don Amici.
Well, I don't know.
Now you don't know old timey white actor.
I don't know them all. I don't know the.
I don't know I can't think of his name.
Pickering is in something that gets us to him because we've done Pickering before.
Wait a minute. Are you saying Pickering?
Colonel Pickering.
In My Fair Lady.
Right. So there's Henry Higgins, and then Henry Higgins' best friend, who they absolutely totally do not have a weird homoerotic relationship at all. Even though they have a whole song called "Why Can't a Woman Be More Like a Man?" Why can't she be like you, Pickering? Which is totally not super gay at all.
Okay. The actor you're talking about, Wilfred Hyde White.
Right. Isn't he in something?
He's in Trading Places.
He's in Trading Places. Yeah. So then you get from Trading Places, you get from Eddie Murphy to our man.
Let me make sure that he's in
Leonard Jackson.
Because now I'm actually thinking it may not be Trading Places.
He's in something weird like Disorderlies or something.
I think.
Is he in Disorderlies?
No, is he in... Gosh.
Or Baps?
I think it's Baps.
Is he in Baps? I know he's in something where it's like, is that Colonel Pickering with a bunch of black people?
Hold on. No, it's not Baps.
What's he in?
The Toy.
He's in The Toy. I knew it was something where he's like, I say, and it's like some black shenanigans right next to him.
Yeah, he plays Barkley.
Right, next to the black shenanigans.
Yes.
So what have we done now?
We've totally pieced this together. This is a hot.
Well, I knew Pickering was involved. Colonel Pickering in black shenanigans.
How do you know Wilfred Hyde White?
That's wild.
Captain
I
Pickering.
didn't know that.
But you don't know Academy Award winning Judy Holliday.
Because Pickering isn't like My Fair Lady is legitimately my favorite musical.
It's a horrible movie.
No, it's not. It's about
It
the
is
power
so.
of language.
It is so.
And Audrey Hepburn.
Actually, Hepburn doesn't even sing her own songs.
She doesn't. But
She's
great
got a
in
gorgeous
it.
voice.
And Rex Harrison is horrible.
Rex Harrison is amazing and totally not gay. Like him and Pickering completely are not having a whole relationship over on the side. That's totally
Weird
not
movie.
what's happening. He's absolutely in love with Audrey Hepburn's character
How is that your favorite musical?
because Henry Higgins is fantastic.
Please.
I say it all
I mean,
the
it
time.
does have memorable. The music is very
Look, I say
memorable.
all the time. I get around these mumble mouth people. I say it all the time. You need Henry Higgins to put some marbles in your mouth.
My God.
You know, like Singing in the Rain?
Oh, I hate.
Oh,
Singing
my
in the
God.
Rain.
I mean, I don't like it either,
Yeah.
but it's memorable.
All right, so
Can you
Can I
put
do it in?
I don't even know how you did it. How'd you? Who'd you
Are
go
we
to?
there? Did we do it? Did you do it?
all right.
I have no idea.
No. All right, so let's do it.
Let's start over.
Let's start over. So you got D'Urville Martin and you know, just real quick. So we said Sidney Poitier, and guess who's coming to dinner? Sidney Poitier is in, let's just say, Uptown Saturday Night with Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is in
The Toy,
Negro Shenanigans,
AKA
the toy, with
Wilfred Hyde White.
Wilfred Hyde White, who is in My Fair Lady with Audrey Hepburn, who's in Sabrina with William Holden, who's in See You Yesterday
Born Yesterday.
Born
Born
yesterday.
with Lynn's old-timey white woman.
Judy Holliday was
Sure.
a fantastic actress.
I'm sure
She's
she
a really
was.
good actress. I bet you would really like her.
Uh-huh, all
She
right.
was.
Okay.
In the movie, she's playing like dumb. Well, I guess she kind of. You know what? It's funny that you mention My Fair Lady because this has a little. It's got a little My
bit
Fair
of that.
Lady. Mm-hmm. Little Pygmalion, little pretty woman. Like we got a lady we're trying to class up.
Right, I got to class her up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's funny.
Okay.
You'll never see it. Anyway,
All right.
continuing on.
Okay.
That was just the first person.
Yeah. Who else we got? You got somebody else from
God.
1907.
No. This one is more contemporary.
Is she in one of the talkies?
This is more contemporary.
Okay.
In 6 films or less,
6 films or less.
connect D'Urville Martin to
2.
the star of the 1993 remake of Born Yesterday,
Okay.
Melanie Griffith.
Okay.
That is easy.
Yeah, I can do, well, you know, the funny thing about Melanie Griffith, talking about random movies, random movie types I like. I love those 1980s white women get jobs movies.
Well, she was the star of them.
Like 9 to 5s. Right. Well, she's in Working Girl.
Yeah.
Which is a target-rich environment. But I'll do it because
And Working Girl's a funny movie.
Working Girl is a very funny movie, and it's a movie where I probably started to really appreciate Sigourney Weaver as an actress.
Yes. Yes.
Because, of course, I know Sigourney. So Sigourney Weaver is in Working Girl with Melanie Griffith. But Sigourney Weaver, of course, is also in Alien
Yes.
with Yaphet Kotto, who is in The Monkey Hustle
With
Rudy Ray Moore, who is, of course, in Dolomite with D'Urville Martin.
Wow.
So
very good.
that's how you do that.
That is exactly
That's how you do
how
that.
you play the game of kings.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Working Girl.
Man.
I like and I mean, quite honestly, I like 9 to 5, and then 9 to 5 just led me to. It was like that whole little subgenre of white women get jobs. Now they work in the city. They drink coffee and eat bagels. I work in the city.
Ooh, but now this white woman but that's Dustin Hoffman.
Right, exactly. But it was such a weird moment. Like we were just obsessed with white women with jobs in the city.
Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. So,
Love.
there you
She
go.
threw her hat up. She's just like, oh my gosh, am I gonna have a house like that? A little apartment with the sunken part.
With the sunken, I honestly think
we're going to make it after all.
I honestly think that's where my fascination with sunken living rooms came in because of Mary Tyler Moore.
Yes, I believe it. Same.
I absolutely love a sunken. Oh my god. Oh my god. When I was watching Mad Men, there's a season in Mad Men where he moves,
where he gets the new spot. Yeah.
New spot, and it's the sun. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you, Don, but God, that house is fabulous.
And meanwhile, like today, that's such an old timey, like a 70s, 60s kind of thing to do. But I'm like, man, that is the height. When you've made it after all, that living room is sunken.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that.
Amen. Nichole, thank you for playing with us.
Oh my gosh. I was like, the second time around, I couldn't have guessed any of those because while I love the movies up to the 50s, then I have a complete lack of knowledge from like the 60s to the 90s. I'm like, Working Girl, I know I should have seen it. I know I've been in a room while it was on, but I don't even really know.
She's working in the city. She has on a suit.
They do. I remember like the suits, the shoulder pads. Right. I was like,
Sigourney Weaver is the hard ass, kind of ends up being kind of her mentor.
But you know what?
But also funny.
The other cool thing about Working Girl, since you are unfamiliar with it, it is the movie that shows, and it probably may be the only movie that shows the softer side of Harrison Ford, because he's the romantic lead in that movie.
He is,
and he wears it well.
Yeah, that's why I said it was target rich, because between Harrison Ford and Sigourney Weaver, you can get there. You didn't like him in Regarding Henry?
Yeah, but I guess because Regarding Henry is more of a drama, though.
Okay, but he's soft.
He's soft, but it's still in a dramatic vein. This, like, he's charming.
Right.
In Working Girl.
Speaking of, I said Cary Grant. It feels very Cary Grant-ish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And which you would never think of.
I would never
Harrison
think
Ford.
that. Not of Harrison Ford. And like, and him being in a romantic lead, I feel like I'm like, when is he a romantic lead without a gun? I think
right. And this, he's like the business guy. He's like suits like the whole movie. Like, you really should check it out.
But he drops his guard because Melanie Griffith is working in the city and she's got moxie. She's got moxie.
Oh, what was the thing that what's his face said to Mary when he said, "You got spunk"? I hate spunk.
Yes, Lou Grant said that to Mary.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, I haven't just finished the rewatch of the Mary Tyler Moore show.
Sure, of course.
I need to do that too. I got a lot of movies to watch.
Yeah.
We'll make you a list.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The 80s I don't know anything. So everything I've missed, and I just pretend like I've seen it, but I haven't.
Oh my, all right. Well, 9 to 5, Working Girl, and Tootsie. Make it so.
Oh, okay. These were all on TBS and TNT all the time. And I was like, take me to Turner Classic Movies. I don't care. But now I need to circle back so I can fit in.
Right.
Oh, she is so one of me.
Yeah.
Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I know I loved you. Okay. All right, Nichole, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We can't wait for your return. We'll book your return. And missionaries, tell Ron I holla.
I will. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be so happy. He's like, "What are you doing on the show?" And I haven't even been on there. I was like, "That's between the two of you. That doesn't have anything to do with me."
I know. We've been trying. That's what he gets for living so close. So we're like, well, we'll come down and see you. I don't want to get him on Zoom. He's right. He's around
He is like right there. He's in Virginia. Yeah. So y'all have to make it happen. I'm on his film review podcast all the time. Leaving the theater. I love it. Y'all will have so much fun. Oh, you're gonna have so much fun. I'm gonna be jealous. I'm gonna be like, get me on there now.
All right. We're gonna let you go before we read our emails. But thank you so much, Nichole.
Thank you. Take care, y'all. This is fun.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Before we get out of here, we haven't forgotten about you, missionaries.
Of course not.
Or your emails, or as we like to call them,
missives from the missionaries. So what else is going on, Lynn?
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Ooh. 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 Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the Missionaries. Vincent, we have an email from Corey Nichole.
Hey, what's up, Corey?
Greeting, Len, Vincent, missionaries, and special guest. I want to take a moment to say I finally went to see Sinners this past weekend, and whew, I was blown away.
Mm-hmm.
What an experience. Let me have a woman moment.
Okay.
To acknowledge Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
He looks delectable,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just going to stop there. Sinners is very sexy, fun, communal, horror, and the scenes that will resonate with me, I'm full. This movie will get They Clone Tyrone treatment, another great movie.
Yes.
I can't wait to see it again in the theaters and for it to come out on DVD. This past weekend, I also revisited one of my favorite movies of all time, Friday.
Okay.
Number 4 on my list, Corey. As you all may know, this film turns 30 this year, which is bananas. I feel like there is no question that Friday may be the most quotable black movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
The script and each character in the movie, from Pops to Smokey to Big Worm, all have quotable lines that are ingrained in pop culture. So I ask, what are the top 5 quotable black movies of all time? I know you guys haven't done a top 5 in a minute, but it's worth a try. For starters, I would say from the DNA of Friday, the movie How High with Method Man and Redman, or even Coming to America. I would love to hear your thoughts. Can't wait to listen to the new episode. Love always, Corey. I was immediately going to say Coming to America.
Oh, yeah.
Was going to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one I was going to rep for is the 5 Heartbeats.
Okay. The Color Purple.
Color Purple's got yeah. Color Purple's a good one. I see that. Farrell Blackwell put that in the chat.
Look, all my life I had to fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna rain on your head.
That's right.
You told Harpo to beat me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We said Friday.
Said Friday.
Said Coming to America.
That might be.
I don't know how ubiquitous it is among black people across the board.
But in your house?
Oh, Black Dynamite. I quote Black Dynamite all the time.
Yeah, but but it's not you.
It's just me. It's just Black Dynamite.
It's a certain
Just a certain
group.
Just
yeah.
certain group.
It didn't cross over.
Right.
Shame.
Right.
Shame.
Right.
I was trying to think if there's anything in Spike Lee's
I
filmography.
told somebody I'm gonna send you back to Crenshaw Pete and them hot ass hangers. Nobody
Nobody else fits. I was trying to think, like, Do the Right Thing is not crazy quotable.
No.
And that's probably the most quotable of his films.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, this is one of my bones. People cape for all the blaxploitation films, but they don't quote them.
Sure.
It's the imagery of it.
Sure.
The soundtracks of it.
Sure.
The ideas of it.
Sure. Because even the Mac, Your Lady Chose Me. Now we can, solve this like gentlemen or go outside and get to some gangster stuff. I think more people heard that on Snoop's album.
Yeah, they didn't see the
heard
movie.
it in the movie.
I think we may have named them.
I think we may have made. So are there not 5 super
I don't think
quotable
did we even name
black
5
films?
So
we said Color Purple.
So we give her
Friday,
Color Purple,
Coming to America.
And you said that's 4.
What was the 4th one?
So Friday, Color Purple,
Mm-hmm. Coming to America. Yeah, I only had 3.
Jesus, I thought we had at least 4. No.
Again,
I said the 5 Heartbeats.
And you said the 5 Heartbeats, but besides, I got nothing but love for you, baby. Like, I don't even know what's really quotable from.
Oh, like when Eddie Kane comes back.
Oh, right. Eddie Kane, like I say all the time, you come in hot like Eddie Kane Jr., but That's not even really a quote.
Honestly, when I said the 5 heartbeats, you know the quote that actually I was thinking about?
What?
Nobody came for you.
Nobody came to hear you, Otis. Right.
Which is not the 5 heartbeats.
Which is not the 5 heartbeats.
So take off. Farrell Blackwell is putting out there waiting to exhale.
Yeah. I don't think so. What's quotable? What do people say?
They're memorable scenes.
They're memorable scenes. You know,
but I don't think
Milliken Williamson when he says "you raggedy," but even that I don't know if.
Life, no.
Yeah, I don't.
Greg Brown is I see shouting out for Life.
Yeah, you can't have my cornbread. Is life.
What about your movie?
Huh?
Baby Boy.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so there are movies that have like
that have
one or
moments.
2 quotes.
That have moments.
Yeah, or a quote, but they
Right.
don't have. They're not quotable.
But like to the height of Mama call him Clay, I'ma call him Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Like that lives on its own.
Yeah.
You know, what's that in your? Is that you? You know, what's that in your hair? And it's just juices and berries.
Yeah.
Like I just have juices and berries. Like Coming to America has moments.
Moments, yeah.
Right. That boy is good.
Sexual chocolate.
Sexual chocolate, right? Like those are right. You know how you get fired on your day off.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we haven't come up with 5.
No, which you always have to acknowledge. We do all understand Craig did steal them boxes.
Yes, we do.
Okay, all right. You can actually see the boxes in the background.
You always want to point that out.
I do want to point because I feel like there's a part of the community that we want to rod for Craig. Like Craig got fired unfairly on his day off, but Craig did actually steal some boxes. And in full disclosure, I felt so betrayed the first time I noticed. I said, are those the boxes? Craig should have got fired.
All right, so we don't have 5?
I don't have 5.
I think we've only got 4.
You keep saying 4. What is the
We
4th
only-
one
okay,
you
so-
tacked on?
So we really only got the 3.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I would have thought there would be 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
All right.
there you go. This is why we don't do the top 5 anymore.
In court, you're going to have to write back in talking about how attractive Michael B. Jordan was in Sinners. What's so hilarious to me about that discourse is how people talk about Smoke or Stack. One of them is more attractive than the other.
But to be fair, he does a great job.
He does a great
creating
job
2
embodying
individual characters.
Right, but it's just hilarious to me that you have people that are like, you know, I think Stack is the clear winner of the, who's more attractive. I just think that's hilarious.
It's been,
Right. But okay. Thank you, Court.
All right. We got one more email before we get out of here. This is from Michael Lockett.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Subject line, I am ready for the ass kicking.
All right.
All right. Greetings, my brothers and fellow missionaries. I love Octavia April and am sad to see it go.
Yeah.
Primarily because horror and sci-fi are my cinematic jams.
Mm-hmm.
A close second to missing April is because, again, Mother May I kicks my ass.
Yeah.
That said, let the ass whoopings commence.
Okay.
I didn't realize how much I actually enjoyed Predator 2 until I saw it again. Danny Glover is a fully formed and fully expressed character. I loved it. I wanted more from his unit, but hey, it's not about them. As a protagonist, the Predator and its species are very grounded. Do you think the Predator mimicking human voices was a direct answer to the Terminator being taught emotions and phrases in Terminator 2, which preceded its release? Actually, no. I think they realized that was one of the gimmicks from the first movie.
Right.
And they overdid it in Predator 2.
Yeah.
So actually, that's what I think happened. Not only, he continues, not only did I get a good watch with Predator 2, but then my time travels landed me with Beat Street.
Okay.
I loved this movie when it came out. I was 13 and happily immersed in hip-hop culture. It was the first film soundtrack I ever bought, and I proudly put it next to my parents' cast recording of The Wiz near the stereo.
That's a real black ass house right there. I like that.
Yes, it is. Like many people, I was bewitched by the shiny object of breaking, but the realness of Beat Street made me want to go to New York, not California. Full disclosure, I lived in both places now and am currently in New York. A quick question for you two regarding sequels. What sequel in any genre do you think did the most for its franchise to propel it to both storytelling and financial success? I now have to go put on 2 or 3 pairs of sweatpants over my jeans and prepare for my mother may I ass kicking. All the best, Michael Lockett. What sequel in any genre did the most for its franchise, propelling it to financial success and in maintaining excellent storytelling? Well, I would say immediately the first one to me, and I don't care what anybody say, it is the Godfather of sequels. It is The Godfather 2.
Yeah, but it didn't turn into a franchise, obviously.
There was a third one.
Yeah, but right. The third one was terrible.
Okay, but it was a franchise.
Yeah, I thought he said turned into a franchise that then it became.
Did the most for its franchise. So not necessarily turned it into a franchise, but did the most for its franchise to propel it to both storytelling and financial success. And I would say The Godfather 2 for 2 reasons. One, The Godfather is an excellent movie.
Yeah, I will say.
I think The Godfather 2 is a better movie.
Okay.
So for that reason, it propels it storytelling wise. It definitely, builds out the world by showing the backstory of the Godfather.
Sure.
And it goes on to success because it wins the Academy Award. So I would say the Godfather 2. Now, it's a bit of a cheat, grant you, because until the third one comes, it's not really a franchise.
Sure.
And you can argue that is it really still a franchise with 3 films? Yeah. But there are franchises that are. I mean, Top Gun is a franchise. There's only 2 films.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a franchise.
Well, some people would.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Well, but either way. So that was the first one that comes to my mind. I could name others, and I'm prepared to. What comes to your mind?
I mean, besides, obviously we've talked a lot about Predator. You know how I feel about Planet of the Apes. Talking about something that kind of took it and then took it. But the 2 modern franchises that I think would not have existed if they didn't get a direct sequel, Mission Impossible and Fast and the Furious. Like, when you look at the first films in both of those series, it really is the second film where people are like, oh yeah, this thing, we can just keep this thing going. Now, we can argue. I mean, yeah, actually, I think you can argue quality if you take it for what it is. Like, Fast and the Furious and the very first Mission Impossible, I don't think anyone was like, oh, well, this is grounded, beautiful storytelling. Like, it was always popcorn fare.
Yes.
And then the sequels, I think you really did see the pieces put in place where people said, okay, this can be a thing.
Yeah. And in fairness, Fast and the Furious, they got a long runway because that really doesn't happen till Fast 5, till The Rock comes in, where it becomes this other thing.
I think Fast 5 took it to the next level, but as you said, it's Fast 5. Like, at that point, it was already in place that this is a thing. Like, I think the fact that it was a thing is why The Rock got involved. I mean, let's be real. Too fast, like Vin Diesel thought he was going to be a thing. That's why he's not in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Right.
And then he circles back and kind of locks in, and then they kind of, okay, well, this is what it's going to be. And then, as you said, The Rock comes in 5, and then it turns into this.
Yeah, but I do think that The Rock is the one that Vin Diesel brings it back and he resuscitates it.
Right.
Admittedly.
And then
because he
again,
comes back at the end of 3 and then he's all in
so
4.
you're saying that in a parallel universe where The Rock doesn't come in for, again, 5, there's no 6?
I think there's an argument to be made, yes.
Oh, I don't think that's a good argument at all, though.
I
don't even. In fact, what is the argument exact? Now I'm curious. What is the argument that without The Rock they wouldn't have been a 6 and 7 and so on?
Because because Vin Diesel starts drinking his own Kool-Aid.
No.
Which he enjoyed. And
Right.
He needed someone. He needed an opposite. The only opposite that would work, that would bring the butts to the seats, especially at that moment in time, was in that type of film, was The Rock.
You're saying bring butts? The butts were in the seats.
Yeah, but
It's the 5th one.
yeah, but the fifth one, the fifth one blows up. 4 is a success. The 5th one is when that franchise becomes like $1 billion franchise.
I'm not saying it doesn't become a monster because of The Rock. Like, it absolutely becomes a monster because of The Rock. But I don't know if it peters out. Like, I think the level it was on, so it's not $1 billion franchise. But the thing, like, they're printing money by the 5th one.
Yeah,
like they've got the formula, they've got this cast.
I think I honestly think
I don't think it peters
I
out.
honestly think that it is with the 5th one that The Rock comes in, and that's when they start building the film, and that's when they start messing around with the timeline and everything like that, and really realize, oh, this is a franchise, and they try to Marvel Studios this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of that coincides with the 5th one. Not saying that it wouldn't have continued,
right?
But
it wouldn't have been as.
I think it's quite possible that the 5th one could have been the last one without The Rock.
When Sean, so Bond is what? Is Dr. No is the first one?
Yeah, the early 60s.
And then it's
Goldfinger.
Is it Goldfinger is next? What's your Bond knowledge? Like, do you think from Dr. No, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, this is a thing," or
yeah, it was definitely a thing, and then he was coming back
because I like
another year or so.
Okay, because those early ones run together for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
and those
Dr.
get you
No,
through the 60s.
Goldfinger.
They'll get you to the end of the 60s. Then he does like maybe 2 more, because he does To Russia with Love, and I think he maybe does 1 more before George Lazenby comes in.
Right.
And does 1.
Right.
And then he comes back for...
Is that the spy who...
No. He comes back for another one. I can't remember. Thunderball. He comes back for Thunderball. And then it's Roger Moore in the 70s.
And you know it's bulletproof by then because Roger Moore doesn't destroy it.
No, exactly.
Like the fact that Roger Moore doesn't destroy it, oh yeah, Bond is invulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I can't think of another franchise that the sequel kind of says, I think we've named them, unless there's another.
Yeah, that's the only other one I can, well,
because I think
you talked about how the Alien movies started playing. They're all different genres.
Yes.
And proved how expansive that world is.
And you can do different things.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You know, and you know, I'm not going to hold us for this. You know, my Alien, like I ride for the first 4 Aliens, the director's cuts. Yeah, the director's cuts of each of them. But they are 4 distinct films.
Different films, yes. Absolutely.
Like the Alien, like in my mind, like in my own, like I would never say this out loud because you just sound like a douchebag what I'm about to say. But like Aliens isn't really a franchise for those four. It's almost like an anthology.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all like these directors come in and they have their own vision, and the only connective tissue is this one image. You know, this one, because they don't even work the same way in each of the films.
Yeah.
So like I don't like to include my beloved Alien in this coarse, crass conversation.
You don't like to bastardize your aliens.
Talk about franchise.
Farrell Blackwell is throwing out, see there in the chat, throwing out Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, I think Ghostbusters kind of limps along.
Yeah, and Ghostbusters 2, a lot of people don't like it.
I'm a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm part of a lot of people.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah, it's just sort of.
I believe it.
You know, Ghostbusters kind of stands on its own.
Yeah. All right, well, that's your emails.
All right.
If you have your thoughts, questions, or concerns, feel free to email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX, MISSION@gmail.com. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week, I invite you to follow the Micheaux Mission on the social media of your choice, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, at Micheaux Mission. We're also up on Threads. We're going to start posting there. I promise. We're going to start posting on Threads. We stepped away from Twitter. We're on Threads. And people are following us. So we got to give them something. Got to give the people what they want.
That's what the song says.
The Micheaux Mission is also on YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, hit the bell, and be notified of when we go live and when we put up all of our shorts and videos. The Micheaux Mission streams live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier podcast palace. If you want to book you and your podcast in one of the many studios that they have here at Young Junk, get in touch with our guy Dylan at youngjunk.com. That's DYLAN at youngjunk.com. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcast work such as ours, which is proudly presented to you by BetterHelp. And if you know someone in your life, or maybe even you, that maybe needs to have a conversation with someone for whatever reason, try BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com/MM and get 10% off your first month. Okay? It's right there for you. Micheaux Mission, looking out for you, missionaries. Because, as Michael Lockett said, it's time. Next week is the first week of May. And that means it is time for Mother, may I have another bad black movie? Yeah. Where Vincent and I select films that on the surface look like they may be a little wanting. Mm-hmm. And next week, we've got a doozy. Yeah. We've got Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
And Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
Where could it go wrong?
Where could it go wrong?
In The Man. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission for Mother, May I Have Another Bad Black Movie. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.